welcome to another episode of REVXP Presents. I'm Chris Mann, the SVP of REVXP, the gaming division of the global integrated marketing agency Revolution. And today I'm thrilled to be joined by my good friend and the SVP of partnerships at New Meta Entertainment, John Spiher. What's up, John?
Hey, it's so glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Of course, it's I know we've been trying to get you on here for a while, but you're a busy man there running partnerships for Dig and everything else you guys are doing at New Meta. So a little bit about John. As I mentioned, he's the SVP of partnerships at New Meta Entertainment. That includes Dignitas, which is an esports team, Radiant, which John will get into in a little bit, as well as everything else that they do over at New Meta. As the SVP of partnerships, John leads opportunities around brands engaging and activating with Dignitas and the Radiant brands. He's been with them for the last 3 years. He's worked with a variety of teams over the last decade. He also sits on the board of a gaming-focused mental health charity called Rise Above the Disorder. Did I catch everything, John?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm one of these pesky endemic esports lifers. So
I would not say pesky, my friend. So just a little background about John and I's relationship. John and I actually worked together when I was at Dignitas as the VP of partnerships. I hired John over there. I think John is one of the top people in the industry. He's going to downplay what he's done, but John is one of the most trustworthy and like real true brand marketers. As he said, he's really grown up in esports and gaming, but he really truly gets like how to connect brands with the opportunities around gaming. And I think this episode should shed a lot of light on the opportunities, not only at New Meta, but for brands in general and how they can activate within the space. And so, John, the top question that we always like to start with, and I know you're a gamer, so what games are you playing right now?
Yeah, so I'll answer that in two ways. First is, as someone who's worked in video games as long as I have, I also like to spend a little bit less time on video games and more on board games. So I do a lot of board game nights with many different people in the industry, and I've been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering on top of that. But on the video game side, really it's League of Legends. I've been playing it for what feels like my whole life at this point. Sea of Thieves has been my preferred digital social sandbox for the last couple of years. And then recently, I've really gone deeper into the world of Marvel Snap. So,
oh, you have? Let's not get started on Snap. What's your current rank this season?
Season started 2 days ago, so like gold.
Oh man, listen, we got to add you to our Marvel Snap Discord. It's pretty much everyone in the industry is playing that game right now. All right, so we'll take that conversation offline. So John, for brand marketers out there interested in getting into the gaming and esports world, how should brands think about activating with Dig and with Radiant?
Yeah, I think I'll answer those two separately. I'll actually start with Radiant, right? So, first and foremost, Radiant is our women's empowerment platform. It's founded by a woman named Heather Garrazzo, who is absolute all-star, first woman inducted in the Esports Hall of Fame. We really built this to be sort of her love letter to all of the issues that she's seen, growing up in this space and our direct approaches to solving those problems. So, with that, Radiant operates predominantly right now as a tournament organizer. But on top of just running broadcasts, it's really creating impactful shoulder content and interviewing so many of these amazing women in some of their first opportunities to compete on stages or on camera. And our approach when it comes to brands is really creating direct impact socially around some of the issues that women face, and creating just a really strong organic way forward to make these brands relevant in a very real and interpersonal way.
Hold on.
Please.
Are you done with Radiant? Because I wanted to just talk a little bit about that one.
Never done with Radiant.
No. Well, listen. I was at Dig, and we were part of the planning with Radiant. And Heather's a rock star. She was on the first REVXP Presents we did, and one of the things that I love about the Radiant platform is that a lot of brands are always looking for opportunities, especially like right now. What is it? It's Women Empowerment Month. There, a lot of marketing around how do you inspire and engage with women through sport. And I think one thing that gets lost, and we always talk about brands, is if you're really looking to touch and add value with within the ecosystem of gaming, and you are interested in doing something inspiring. Women gaming platforms like Radiant are like a really low-hanging fruit opportunity, but one that will add a ton of value for you as a brand coming in, and not only add value for you, but add value to the ecosystem. And so I think that every brand we hear is like, hey, what are we doing to empower women? Well, sure, you could do traditional sports routes, but so many women, and we'll get into it later in the Data Nugget segment about women in gaming and the continued growth of it, but a platform like Radiant, like, is that avenue for you as a brand to come in and do something really empowering?
Yeah, it's absolutely that, and I think the biggest piece too is we're providing top level resources and the highest quality productions and the highest quality of everything in a community that historically has been underserved. So, for so many, there's a level of gratitude that comes from, wow, Radiant's been the first to interview me and my backstory and how I became a professional Rocket League player and all of these respective things. So, when it comes to how we've activated brands through that content and through providing, product direct in the hands of the amazing women that are part of these events, it's just been seen as such a huge direct impact. And that to me is the most important part. I think a lot of people, tend to talk about empowering women, but I think Radiant and through Heather's vision has done a great job just creating that direct impact, right? And with that, we're also providing a huge women-focused staff and career opportunities for all of the people that go into these productions. I mean, we've developed over 100 opportunities for women to just have real paid and well-paying work as part of these productions, and I think that's just a wonderful thing for brands to hang their hat on.
And we've actually worked together on the Radiant platform. You guys, when you did the Game Changers Valorant event, as well as the Radiant Rocket League event within the last 2 years, we positioned Chipotle as a partner of both of those, and saw massive success to come in and work with you guys on that. And so, to your point, brands like really putting their money where their mouth is, like, Chipotle's done it, and we'll continue to do it within the gaming community because that's part of our strategy. And I think hopefully brand marketers out there now will be aware of the Radiant platform. You want to talk a little bit about Dig, because I know you guys have a lot of exciting things.
Yeah.
Big announcement last week. Obviously, League of Legends is moving right now. You guys got a top Rocket League team, but let's talk about that announcement that you guys had last week.
Yeah, so within the last couple of weeks, we've added some pretty big names, particularly to the Fortnite side of our business. The largest of which is obviously Bugha, one of the most followed gamers in the world, one of the top Fortnite players in the world. Our goal is to help him win even more of those World Cups, World Championships, and take him and his brand to the next level, right? We also added Aussie Antics, who acts as one of the strongest community voices around how we supplement our competitive side of Fortnite, where Bugha is focused on taking home those trophies, right? Aussie is focused on creating content for our fans live to be a part of that action and see his reactions to those. And then we also added Canada, who is joining our team as a top performer, who himself has a extremely strong fan base. So when it comes to Fortnite and when it comes to Dignitas, we've done a great job over the last year. We entered Fortnite in late 2022 and have really pushed hard in our goal to just take over content, take over competition, and really drive culture.
Yeah, and I think the Bugha signing was big, and out there, obviously this is a model that a lot of teams in the industry have tried to bring in big name talent. And I think the key that's going to be, and I know you're going to do this well, is how do you convert Bugha's fans to Dig fans, or all the names that you just mentioned? How do you bring them into your ecosystem? Because players come and go, and hopefully Bugha's, and the other names you mentioned are there for a very long time. But the key, I think, that, and the challenge has been within the gaming ecosystem, specifically with esports teams, is not just renting the talent, but actually giving them an opportunity to grow personally and professionally, but also to grow your own fan base. And that's the key, to add value to the partners that you have and are engaged with.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. And the short version is I think we're doing a good job, and even some of the things that we're doing experientially of adding, brands and individuals like Bugha to be a part of a greater experience of us bringing, cool new opportunities for fans to not just meet him, but meet the whole collective, as well as our Rocket League team, right? It was also an event that, 1-2 weeks after the Super Bowl, you have the Philadelphia Eagles running back, Boston Scott, who is also a substitute on our Rocket League team, was also, in person. So we're bringing together multiple teams, multiple personalities, and showing, hey, Dignitas is this net and this collective of so many talented individuals under one banner, and providing those opportunities for fans to experience, but also brands to be a part of has been a big moment.
Yeah, I think the cool thing with Boston Scott is, a lot of teams out there have like brought in top names like athletes, but Boston Scott's like legit a sub on the Rocket League because he's a grandmaster, right, in Rocket League. Like he legit, like outside of playing football and scoring way too many touchdowns against my Giants, like the dude is actually a very good Rocket League player.
Yeah, top 0.5% of all Rocket League players. I mean, this is also a guy who, he was texting and supporting our team when he was getting ready to play the Super Bowl. And then, things obviously didn't go the way that the Eagles wanted. But right after, he was, in the locker room, but also in Twitch chat while our Rocket League team was playing a qualifier as well and just continuing to cheer them on. So, I mean, he's such a geek. He's so authentic to the space in the best way. And he's been absolutely a tremendous person to work with on a personal level.
He's truly invested in being part of DIG, which I think a lot of times when athletes get involved in these orgs and teams, that they're not. They're just there for maybe
they're a figurehead rather than something that's truly authentic. I completely agree. And that's where I think we've gotten really lucky with Boston and the relationship that he's developed with Michael Prindiville, our CEO, has been very human, and that's how sort of all of this came into being. But now we have this younger Rocket League team that we just changed regions from being the most dominant Rocket League organization in the world, but we competed in Europe. Now we're competing with a younger roster in North America, and Boston gets to mentor and showcase all of the strong coaching and teaching that he's experienced in his upbringing to add yet another supplemental way for our team to become the best. And that's been tremendous.
And that's awesome. I'm very happy to hear the DIG Rocket League team is now in North America, obviously. We've had many conversations around that, so much easier in terms of for brand marketers to digest a team when teams are within the same continent. And some people may not. Some people may say, like, why Boston Scott besides being a great player? Well, just another thing is New Med Entertainment is obviously owned in part by Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment. Harris Blitzer Sports and Entertainment owns the New Jersey Devils and the Philadelphia 76ers, hence the connective tissue about Philadelphia Eagles player, Philadelphia, based potentially org around Dignitas. John's obviously in LA right now, but there's a lot of connective tissue around the Philadelphia market. So that's kind of bringing it together.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, right? Like our bigger goal has been bringing the digital physical, and that's we just led a fan-focused event in Philly, but even around the various Rocket League majors that happen every year, the League of Legends summer and spring splits, and some of the Fortnite events that we do as well. I think we're going to continue to see this trend of more in-person, large-scale activations that we get to bring to life on-site, but also in the periphery, add even more opportunities around. So it's an exciting time.
Yes. All right. So we hit Rocket League, we hit Fortnite, we hit Radiant. Obviously, one of the biggest investments that you guys have is League of Legends. You're one of the 10 franchise teams in LCS. When I was at DIG, we were just getting back and it had made that great run after we took over Clutch Gaming. League of Legends, the premier esport, the premier game across everything. Worlds is a Super Bowl-esque atmosphere. Last year was in San Francisco. This year will be in South Korea. Do you want to talk a little bit about the DIG LCS team and kind of what you guys are doing around League?
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about the entire program. I'll actually start with our Challenger team, just because, over the course of the last 3 years, if there's one thing Dignitas has done very, very well in League of Legends, it's create and curate up-and-coming talent. So our team is currently in playoffs in the Challenger circuit. Our goal is to take the whole thing. We've floated between first and second place the entire split. Same with last year. So that's just been a really strong opportunity, and we've already promoted one of those respective players to our starting squad in LCS. And it's creating that direct path from the B League to the A League is really one that I think we've done such a great job. And shout out to James Baker, who's our GM, who's been so good at scouting that talent. When it comes to our LCS team, I mean, look, we started the split or season this year with a couple of visa issues, so it took a little bit longer for us to get our dedicated set of 5. But whereas a lot of organizations focused on their boot camping and doing major practices in the off season, we've actually been planning a lot of tools and investment and resources around practicing and growing our team between the spring and summer splits so that we can, continue this path hopefully toward Worlds coming in the second half of the year. So that's really been our core focus, and with that, we've added some amazing players like Santorin and Jensen, each with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of followers.
Legends of competitive
absolutely.
legends and players that have been around and established. So to go with those mix, a good, really good kind of mix.
And we've in the same way that we're utilizing Aussie to sort of be that compounded investment and showcasing the heartbeat of the Fortnite community. Biofrost is someone that we had on our competitive roster last year. We have them focused on a content creator basis this year to really drive the content in real time for the League of Legends community as well, on top of those core esports viewers, right? So we're always trying to take both an esports approach, but also a more media-centric general gaming approach, because that is also a much wider opportunity when it comes to brands trying to get involved in the space. So we've really developed our program there strongly.
Yeah, and I mean, and in terms of brands, like Dignitas, obviously a top flight team with some of the some big names in some of the biggest esports leagues. And John's actually coming from the Verizon 5G training center with Dig. So this is a brand that actually, this is a team that actually has been able to attract top brands. I think there was Verizon's first deal in the space. So brand marketers out there looking to get into gaming, certainly can find a trusted partner with Dignitas. John, as we look to wrap, one question I love to end with is, obviously this space is really geared towards a lot of innovation, right? A lot of the future, connecting your connecting not only your current consumer, but your future consumer through their top passion point, which is gaming. So can you tell us, like, if I'm a brand marketer out there, which I am obviously, but if I'm out there and I don't know as much about gaming, what are some innovations that I need to have on my radar that I was like, wow, like if you want to, be ahead of the curve, this is some things that, you at Dignitas and you as a marketer yourself are thinking about? Yeah,
I'd say the number one, that should be coming down the pipeline pretty soon, and I know you on the Chipotle side have already started some of these experiences as well, is really the world of curated environments and Fortnite creative holistically. Developing either bespoke activations within your own island or map or universe, or going with an entity like Dig that it will have a wealth of these environments that we already have a more active user base in. Holistically, Fortnite creative is, I think, one of the strongest things for brands to focus their time and effort researching into as we head into the second half of this year.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like we've obviously launched a map within all the metaverse platforms. Chipotle was one of the first to launch a creative map within Fortnite. We had the Farm to Foil speedrun about 2 years ago now. I think the key thing for brands to understand when they want to launch a Fortnite map, same with Roblox. Minecraft's a completely other story. But when it comes to Roblox and Fortnite, launching your own brand-owned experiences, because you all know brand marketers, you want to own something. That may or may not be the case, pending your budget, pending your tactics, pending your goals. But if you did want to own something to really consider when you launch in Roblox and Fortnite is that you actually have to not only build it, but you actually have to use dollars to amplify, boost, and get people to your experience. So this is I use this analogy all the time, like Field of Dreams, great movie. There's a famous saying, if you build it, they will come. That's not how it works in gaming. If you build a great Fortnite map, nobody's going to come to it because nobody's going to know about it unless you actually invest or partner with a team like Dignitas, who has the resources like Booga to actually get people to your map. And also consider this when you're building these experiences, make them fun to play. Make them actually where the gaming community wants to take part in them. And I think that, brand marketers, hopefully, if you're exploring Fortnite creative, call us. We're happy to help you. I'm just sure John would like to help you as well. But you just can't build it. You got to actually build something cool and relevant and promote it. And we're here to help to do that. So, all right, John, anything else to add?
No, I mean, I think it's a tremendously interesting time for gaming and esports holistically right now. I think with that, go with who you know and go with some of the stronger, older, more trusted entities in the space. We're actually celebrating our 20th year this year as Dignitas, which makes us one of the top 3 oldest organizations in North America, which is pretty cool. We're planning a bit of a celebration around that, but it's it's a great time to be involved in gaming. I think some of those barriers to entry are becoming lower and lower, and the eyeballs are still continuing to rise. So yeah, thank you all for having me.
Of course, John. Where can people find you and Dig?
Yeah, so my social handles for me personally everywhere is just my last name, so Spiher. That's Twitter, LinkedIn, so on. Dignitas is at Dignitas. Again, on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it, we're on it, but TikTok especially. And then for Radiant, it's Radiant, RAIDIANT, GG, on TikTok, on Twitter, LinkedIn, and so on. So follow us on the socials. We have a ton of amazing content and experiences in store later this year, and would love to find ways to have you be a part of them.
Absolutely, and we'll link to all those within our YouTube description and when we post it on LinkedIn. John, thank you very much. One of our new segments, I'm really excited. We're going to have Ian from the Rev Insights team drop some data nuggets around Fortnite, women in gaming, Rocket League, and League of Legends. Ian, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. I am back here at the fryer or the oven if your New Year's resolution is still intact here 3 months into the year with a fresh batch of data nuggets coming out of your conversation with John. You kicked off the conversation kind of talking about what they are doing with Radiant, women's empowerment in gaming. So wanted to start with a couple stats there. Women currently, according to Statista, make up 48% of gamers in the US. That's up 15% over the past 5 years. So it's currently certainly a growing kind of demographic within the gaming community, and one that organizations like Radiant are really trying to help empower. And that group, those women gamers, really love seeing brands who are willing to get involved in social issues. 57% of them, in fact, agree with that via our fine partners at YouGov. And I think that just speaks to the opportunity for brands to connect with those groups, really helping them achieve some of the things that they want to achieve in gaming and bring down some of those barriers for entry and then barriers to success. We then talked about everything that Dignitas is doing across Fortnite, League of Legends, and Rocket League. We know those three groups as some of the most tuned in to gaming, right? When you look at 80% of the Fortnite audience, 88% of League of Legends, 94% of Rocket League who are actively watching gaming streams, it's a great way and a great place for brands to kind of interact with a very tuned in audience who is the future consumer of many products across the board. A couple that we'll hit on here to round us out. The Fortnite community is 40% more likely than the average gamer to engage with advertisements that are tailored to them. Coming off the announcement of the Booga collaboration with Dignitas and what he's doing in Fortnite. And we know that creators and athletes, personalities, really across all aspects of society are really most successful when brands allow them to organically connect their brand to their audience. And we're seeing that in the stats, especially amongst gamers who really appreciate kind of those meaningful, authentic collaborations between brands and their favorite creators and competitive athletes who help bring meaningful kind of value to their world as a community. And then last but not least, we've talked about all three of these audiences then really serving as their own vector of influence, right? They get their influence from the creators and the athletes that they follow, and then they serve as influencers within their own circles. 81% of the Fortnite audience, 82% of the League of Legends audience, and 76% of the Rocket League audience love to recommend things for people to try. So these are people that if brands can connect with them, they can then connect brands to their own circles in and outside of the gaming world. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Ian, thank you so much. John, thank you so much. Everyone out there, we really appreciate your time tuning in. We went a little long on this one. Hopefully it's been worth sticking around with us. A lot of great insights dropped by John and Ian, and we've really enjoyed having opportunity to bring this content to you. To all of you watching from Synopsis Media, our partners there, thank you so much. Esports business registration is open. We'll link to that in our description as well on YouTube, and thank you guys again. Till next time, play some games, have some fun, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.